Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Advanced Selling Podcast, the longest running sales training podcast history of the world. We're 20 years in. My name is Bill Caskey.
I am Bryan Neale.
And if you heard us last week, you heard us talking about volunteers for our 20th celebration, which happens in 2026 this year in September timeframe-ish. And so we're looking for ideas on how we can celebrate. So I think the best way to do it, Bryan, is to go to LinkedIn. Most listeners are already linked into us. Direct message us there, make some recommendations. And if we like some of these, we may fly you out to help us orchestrate it. We're just kind of working through some of the options now.
I just think when, so when Jimmy Fallon has his 100th episode, these celebrities like Jay-Z and Taylor Swift, they do little drop-ins or they'll shoot a note. I was thinking the same thing for us. I'm sure there's a lot of really famous celebrity listeners, fact checker Doug,
sure that
other people that have been involved with us for a long time. The little international group that meets together, what do they call them, the Globetrotters or something like that, the group from The Insider, Scott and a couple others.
Oh, yeah.
That group. So some of the famous characters along the way in the Advanced Selling Podcast. Don't think we're going to get a lot of celebrities out of the blue, though. I think we're going to have to go find them.
Yeah, we'll have to find them. And celebrities to us means very different things. It's not Taylor Swift, it's a Doug Rosen, or it's an Andy Bacone, or it's we've even had some famous people on our podcast.
Yes, we have.
But that nobody remembers. Who was our most famous? Well, we had
Grant Cardone.
David Allen. We had Grant Cardone.
Grant Cardone. We had who's the guy that owns the who was the CEO of the Heat? Did we have that guy on there? The Miami Heat guy who ran a triathlon and stuff like that, or Ironman? No.
We had. I think we had the vice president of the Orlando Magic.
That's who I'm thinking of.
Yeah. And I can't remember what the reason is other than he did something and we wanted to, and he was cool. I remember that.
He was awesome.
Oh yeah. Now that I think about it, we had some killer celebrities on.
We've had some famous people on here.
We had, what's his name from Universal Laws of Success? The Chicken Soup for the Soul. Jack Victor Hansen. And
Jack Canfield.
Jack Canfield.
Yeah, Jack Canfield on here.
He's still going strong. He could show up. He just might show up anytime.
We have had some famous people on this show. Let's go us. So we're talking about that. And Insider, we talk about it every week. You need to be in there. AdvancedSellingPodcast.com. Just go join. It's $97 a month. Biggest bang for your buck. Live coaching. First Friday, is that correct, Bill? First Friday.
Next one is June, and we're doing also a second, the third Friday too. Is kind of a follow up, so it's not new information. It's implementation Friday, where we're taking some of the things we talked about first Friday, making sure you're clear on how to deploy those.
Love that. And today we're going to roll into our topic. I don't know if Bill, you said I mentioned it to you, which I had forgotten. Did I mention it on the air? My new hobby? I don't know if I mentioned it in this episode.
I don't think so.
I don't think I did, but I have a new hobby. I told you. And it's going to play into our topic today, which is about fear. We're going to talk a little bit about just things that scare us in our sales career, things that scare us or fear, and how do we process fear. And I've had to deal with this with my new hobby. I've decided that I'm going to become a beekeeper. Not become one. I am one now officially. I've got a beehive full of bees.
I am one because I say I am.
I am. And I have a bee suit to prove it. I'll send a picture over.
See that.
But a lot of research went into this. This is like a year and a half-ish kind of thing I've been thinking about, and then finally pulled the trigger on it. And then now I've got a big brood of bees out there in the backyard filling up comb in the frames, and it's really, really cool. And the first time you put your bee suit on, if you've never done this before, and you go out to handle bees, it scares the hell out of you because it's bees, and it's a swarm of bees. There's like 30,000 of them. And when you take the lid off the brood box, they call it, technical term, Bill, brood box. Sorry.
Yeah, brood of bees. I figured that
brood bees is and making a lot of noise, and they're buzzing around, and it's their house. But you have to learn to overcome and they can smell fear. The bees smell fear. They talk about how to walk up and approach your hive, which with calmness and a little peacefulness, and just you're sort of with them. And so it just got me thinking, in our sales careers, sellers and sales leaders are consistently faced with situations that might cause fear. The way I've seen fear show up, at least for me personally, early stage sales career, long time ago, was just getting out in your territory for the first time and handling sales calls for the first time for yourself. Then you might have a little success, and then you get promoted, and then suddenly you're in a bigger role with more responsibility and a different type of buyer. And then you get promoted to sales leader, and then you're a sales leader, and everyone's looking at you for all the answers, and that can create some fear. And then you get the chief revenue officer job or the VP of sales or whatnot, or you have to give a speech in front of a trade group. And so it just got me thinking about how, this concept of fear shows up throughout life in different ways. We have fear around putting stuff on LinkedIn. I'm afraid to do a video. I'm fearful to start a podcast. And so I just want to talk a little bit about it. I thought it'd be a good topic for us to chat about how have you handled it, how I handle it, how we think about fear as a seller.
I think it hits us in every part of our life when you think about it. It's just a protective. All it is a protective mechanism, because our brain sometimes can't tell the difference between a true fear and a illusory fear. So everything becomes scary, whether it's posting something on LinkedIn, which is probably, unless you really, well, I don't know how you could screw it up to where a death might be an imminent conclusion from that. But our brain doesn't see it that way. Our brain sees everything as a risk. And so it's always in risk mitigation mode. And one way to mitigate the risk is to not do it, to not post or not shoot the video or not start the business or not start the side hustle. And it becomes debilitating when we have good ideas and things we'd like to do, and then we don't do them because of this stupid fear. And we all have it. It's not stupid. It's stupid because there's usually no ground, no basis for it, but we still feel it. And so sometimes I think we just have to acknowledge, you know what, got a little anxiety around this. Okay, good. And we'll keep doing it, and we'll keep moving.
Yeah. That's it's definitely in us. Remember the book, The Gift of Fear? I feel like it's from maybe the 90s. It's pretty old, The Gift of Fear. I never read it, but the premise, I saw the author talk one time, and the premise is that it's innate. It's a survival mechanism in our core, like limbic brain. And, it's what makes you sit up straight, like when the saber-toothed tiger was outside the cave, and it's like, oh my gosh, this is scary because this tiger could eat me. And we all still have it. Now that life's a little better, we don't worry about saber-toothed tigers as much anymore. Some of you might, most of us don't. We worry about other things, to your point, that are real and not real. Yeah. And yet I love the phrase, I heard the speaker say this, I just love the idea here, is that everything that you've been afraid of, you've gotten through and passed. And you could, there's everything, because you're sitting here today in the present moment, at 9:37 a.m. on Monday, May 4th. Don't say it. Don't say it. Don't say it. May the 4th be with you, Bill.
Oh, so that's why you brought that up.
Star Wars.
Say that. Yeah.
I didn't want to say that, but I had to.
But we got May 4th. You have.
We did our first podcast together, and we were, we didn't know what's going to happen, or we did the radio show back in the day, and we didn't know if that was going to work. And here we are. We got through all those things, and some of them clicked. Here we are 20 years later. That clicked. Radio show. Maybe we should resurrect Business 360 from this combo. I don't know, but it's
right.
But it's okay.
Yeah, Siri, maybe it's Siri.
Yeah.
Or Sirius, not Siri.
Yeah.
We could do it on Siri too.
We could.
I think, there's a biblical reference to give no thought to the morrow. And I'm not sure what's translated, but give no thought to tomorrow means don't worry. The Bible suggests that God doesn't want us to worry. He wants us to be caring, wants us to be present, wants us to take care of our business, but worry, nah. And to me, that worry and fear are kind of two sides of the same coin. I'm afraid to do something because I worry that if I do that and it fails, then people are going to shun me or whatever. I just had a situation with let's see what I'm comfortable sharing here. Yeah, my daughter, Kara, who you know both of them. She felt the pull of motherhood, and she has a good job with a nice company, and was pretty happy with it. But she was seeing her 3 and 1 year old 30 minutes in the morning and 30 minutes in the afternoon, and that was it. I mean, the weekends, yes, but during the week, not much, because they go to bed at 6:30 or 7. And she was feeling this tug of look, I'm sitting here all day doing kind of meaningless work in the scheme of existence. It's not like she's not saving lives. She's doing, things that you could say are mundane. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And not paying attention to her kids. And so she felt that pull. And so she decided she was going to slice her hours way back. The company agreed that they would help her, and was very, very generous of them. And so she's now working 2 hours a day, 5 days a week. And then the rest of the time she's taking care of her children. And so her mom and I obviously had a little bit of consternation about that, because that's a lot of money to give up, several $1,000s a month of income at a time when your kids are 3 and 1, and you're trying to build a life, and you have a house, and you got expenses, and then at some point you realize, wait a minute. So I'm not spending $3,000 a month on childcare, and it ends up being $500 or $600 a month difference. And then the question is it worth $600 a month to spend 100 hours with your 2 children? That's $4 an hour. Is that is that a good trade-off? You're like, yeah, I think that's a good trade-off. And then you have to at some point say, hey, it's all going to work out. It's going to be okay.
Yeah.
And that's so hard for parents and grandparents to, and sometimes we just have to STFU and just move on and say, look, it's their life. It'll be fine.
They will work it out, as we all did. As we all did. Yes. And we have, we've been doing this for 20 years, and we have people that just found us who are early in their sales career, who are, if we've been doing this for 20 and they're 22, they were 2 and 3 and 4. Yeah. So when their papa was taking care of them, trying to help them mold pencil, that's a callback to the last episode. Papa was listening to the Advanced Selling podcast in his time off, in the morning. So this kind of topic is timeless, is the point. It doesn't matter where you are in your sales career. This idea of fear will hit you in all sorts of ways, in your life, and how you deal with this. And I think that's the one key lesson for me, is to, one, accept that that's part of my natural wiring. And so I'm going to accept that, embrace it. And it's good for certain things. And then to reframe it into healthy construct. And that to me is the trick. I can let fear take me to a really bad place, or I can let fear just be there and not give it energy and go to a good place with it. For me, when the new thing comes, so I'm going to talk to a big sales opportunity that I've never done before, or I'm meeting with a really big buyer or someone like that, that fear is there, and part of it helps me. Part of it helps me get serious and locked in and prepared and ready to go. And then it needs to stop. And then I have to reframe and say, and I'm prepared and ready to go. And this transaction with this new prospective gigantic client or whatever is going to go right. It's going to go. And that's going to be it. And it's going to have an outcome. And that's going to be part of my life.
That's right. And that outcome will probably serve everybody in the best possible way. Even if you don't get it, or you don't become, it doesn't matter. None of this matters. And the more we try not to throw the curveball, we throw the curveball. The more we feel like, oh, I can't be afraid here. Oh, I gotta, be straight. And then we over determine our behavior. And then people are like, oh, he was a little uptight during that call, wasn't he? Who is this dude? Also, I think that when you are when you are fear, like let's say AI. Let's say AI is creating some fear and anxiety in people because there's, I don't know what to do, don't know how to use it, seems to change every day, and it does. But maybe the goal here is, well, how can I learn how to serve people at a higher level by using AI? In other words, make the serving of people, or the serving of your audience, or of your customers, or of your people inside your company, or your cohorts, or if you're leading a team, your team. How can I serve my people better by learning this? Is a better construct than just, how do I learn this? Because if I don't learn it, somebody's going to take my job. And that's a terrible way to go into learning anything like that, because it's all fear-based, like you said. So I would rather say, well, maybe maybe somewhere inside of AI, there's a way I can serve my constituents better. Let's explore that.
That whole mental shift is that's all of it. That's the best example, that AI thing. And everyone listening is on a path on that. They're on a spectrum of, I'm terrified it's going to take my job, it's going to take over the world, it's going to do all these bad things and whatever. And the total flip side is I'm all in, I'm embracing it, I'm learning, I'm teaching myself, I'm having it learn for me and using it to the best of my ability. And I think about it's not a thing like AI is here now. Just like, and we had similar things, and I know people, it's different, but we've had similar things. When the car came out or the television, you know what I mean? Everyone freaked out. They're like, oh my God.
It's always that way.
Right? Always. And then the internet came along. It's like, wow, email came along. All the paper companies thought they were going to go out of business because email. All the paper companies are going to shut down.
Paperless society, remember?
Paperless society. It created more paper than anybody ever knew it to do it, ever. And so that historical perspective of things that we feel, 9/11, or I'm sorry, 9/11, Y2K. Yeah. Remember, everyone's terrified. They're building bunkers in the woods, because they thought the world was going to end. And here we are. We're sitting here. We're going to be okay. It's just part of the evolution of our humanity, and it's going to be okay.
In fact, I would even say that whenever someone is doom and glooming like they are with AI, some people are, some people aren't. Like Mark Cuban, I think he's not a doom, he's like, you better learn it, but it's going to be helpful. It's going to be really good. Whenever you hear the doom and gloomers, just recognize that it's probably going to be the opposite. It's just like it was with paper and Y2K and TV and the hammer and the sigh. What was it? The tool, the sigh for farming. There was a tool, and they said, "Oh, it's going to make human beings obsolete." Well, unless you know how to use one of those, and then you're old. So I think it's the same thing with AI. So rather than thinking about all this stuff as fear, what's going to happen to me, don't worry about tomorrow. Tomorrow will take care of itself. And I would even say that, I know I'm babbling too much on this topic, but it's a great one, is if you feel a fear, it's probably exactly what you should be doing. It's almost like your body gives you a clue, like, oh, you better pay attention to this AI thing. Doesn't mean run and hide from it. It means pay attention to it. Maybe there's something there for you.
And I feel like the fear, even like back to a sales topic that we both love, is my presence and my interaction on LinkedIn. I just feel for people, but there are a bunch of layoffs going on. What was it? Oracle that laid off like 30,000 people or something like that. Was it Oracle?
Was a lot. Yeah, there's a lot.
Anyway,
Spirit Airlines.
So, and then what happens is, here it comes. They put their post up on LinkedIn. Says, hey, I'm, a victim of the recent rifts, and I'm looking for a job. But when you look at their activity in the previous year, they haven't done anything, nothing. And now they need it. And usually the reason they've done nothing is fear-based. They were afraid to look bad or say something stupid, or people would get to know them too much. I've had that, like, well, I don't want people knowing my business, until you need them to know your business. It's a little selfish, man.
Yeah.
So all those things, they're all fear-based. And then it's not too late, but it is in a way, like you've got to move through this resistance and this fear in some way, because nothing's going to change. It's not going to change.
So I would say, if you're listening to this and listening to what we say and kind of seeing some truth for your own life, I would just pick out maybe a thing in your business life that you're a little bit leery of, and maybe it is posting on LinkedIn or shooting more video, or maybe it's, a side hustle like Brian's doing. Just explore it a little bit and say, well, where's this anxiety coming from? Is it coming from a logical place? Like, might I lose my family if I do this, or might I lose my life? What? And usually it's usually just people may not think that I know what I'm doing. Well, are we gonna run our life based on what other people think, who don't really think much about us anyway, other than maybe the passing glance? What? Brian's doing bees? What the hell is he doing bees? And then they're moving on to something else. They don't care. They do not care at all. Good or bad.
For sure. I call that inflated self-importance. If you think people care about what you put on LinkedIn, they don't, I promise. They'll just go right by it. So, okay. Well, if you haven't done so, join the Insider Program, advancedsellingpodcast.com. And hey, if you want to be, on the planning committee for the 20th anniversary, we're sort of making this up as we go. We literally just made this up as we go. Shoot us a DM on LinkedIn or email listener@advancedsellingpodcast.com. And we're going to think about some things to celebrate our 20th year in September of 2026, which is pretty cool. Little milestone.
You know what? Let's do, Travis, if you're hearing this, which I presume you are, hopefully you're editing it. So you're hearing it. We might look at putting up a web page that just is a 2026celebration.com or whatever, and just start to take names of people there who are interested in being a part of it. Again, we're not planning commit, but who knows? Maybe, and if you have an idea, maybe that's the place where you go to share it. But
I love it.
We might collect some, because it's not that far away. Yeah.
It'd be fun. Now it's sneaking up on us. So September of 2026, and this is we're recording this in May of 2026. So fun stuff. Okay.
All right. See you next time. Bye.
Bye.